what these local authorities and wider areas are trying to get. Lancashire
We've got to come together as a country. This fragmentation, that's a very, very dangerous route to go on. If you look at the countries that have controlled this well to date, they've had a national consensus about the way forward. And what we don't want now is one area or city pitched against another. That would be very, very damaging to public health and the country's ability to respond.
Well, we're just expecting the Scottish Government's daily coronavirus briefing to start imminently. It's going to be led by the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, as always, of course. Also joining will be the Chief Medical Officer, Gregor Smith. That will start, as always, with the latest update on the case numbers. And as Alistair was just telling us there, from today, face coverings must now be worn in workplace canteens in Scotland. So everyone is going to have to cover their face in work canteens unless they're sitting at a table, similar to the rules for cafes and in most other communal areas as well. And other communal workplace areas, such as corridors, will also be included in the restrictions from Monday. But the rules on wearing face coverings at weddings or partnership ceremonies have been relaxed slightly. Also big changes happening in England with more restrictions. That's First Minister kicking off. Let's listen.
We'll start as usual with today's COVID statistics. The total number of positive cases reported yesterday was 1,196. That is 16.9% of people newly tested, and the total number of cases now stands at 45,232. 416 of the cases were in Greater Western Clyde, 309 in Lanarkshire, 161 in Lothian and 104 in Ayrshire and Arran. The remaining cases were spread across 9 other health board areas. Only Shetland today has no local cases. I can also confirm that 629 people are currently in hospital. That's an increase of 27 since yesterday, and 58 people are in intensive care. That is 6 more than yesterday. I'm also very sad to report that in the past 24 hours, 9 additional deaths were registered of patients who had first tested positive over the previous 28-day period.
Sorry, can I just turn round?
I
didn't.
The daily measurement is now 2,594, and again I want to send my deepest condolences to all those who have lost a loved one to this virus at any point during the pandemic, in particular who have more recently been bereaved. There are a few items I want to briefly cover today before handing over, before the Chief Medical Officer and I take questions from the media. As I often do on a Friday, I'll shortly give an update on the quarantine requirements for international travel. I'll then say a word about the opening of 2 new walk-through testing sites, and finally I want to say something about this weekend. Before that though, let me just start with a special word about schools. Obviously many schools will soon be returning from the October break, while others are just now preparing to start the half-term. But I wanted to take this opportunity today to say a very big and a very heartfelt thank you to teachers, to other school staff, to pupils and parents across the country. I know that you have faced many challenges over the past few months. I also know that because of the restrictions, the October break will not be all that you might have hoped it would be. But we mustn't lose sight of what you have achieved during this first half-term. It is down to your efforts and your ability to adapt in extremely difficult circumstances that schools have been able to return. As a result, the vast majority of pupils are now able to have the classroom and the wider school experience that was lost back in the spring. And I don't think we should underestimate that. It is a real achievement that young people have been able to have that normal schooling experience for the last number of weeks that they lost out on for much of this year. So that I think is something important and something positive in this difficult period for all of us to mark and reflect on. Now, I know there will be further challenges ahead. I think that is almost inevitable, and I don't want to stand here today and give any sense that I am underestimating how difficult it will have been so far, not least for teachers. But I just wanted to put on record my thanks to all of you for the really important work that you've done, and so that you know that in spite of all of the difficulties, it is hugely appreciated, and it is very important for not just the well-being of our our children and young people now, but I think for their future prospects as well. So thank you to everybody for that. Let me now turn to my first update of today. That concerns a list of countries that are subject to quarantine requirements. We announced last night that Italy, San Marino and the Vatican City State will now be added to the list of countries with quarantine requirements. That means from 4 a.m. on Sunday, people travelling to Scotland from these places must self-isolate for 14 days on their arrival or return here. We've also announced that Greece and all of the Greek islands, apart from Mykonos,